Hi everybody. I'm hoping the audio volume on this is okay. I'm trying a little bit something different for this video. The levels look good on my end. Hopefully it carries over, that the music is not too loud, or that it's so quiet you cannot hear it. First off, before I get started, there was a coffee exclusive video posted earlier, and I removed it. So if you're looking for it, I took down the tweet that was posting it, and I also took down the coffee video itself. After I published it, I kind of went back and I was like, you know what, this isn't up to snuff for what I want on the coffee, so I removed it. There wasn't anything, offensive or controversial in it. It was just not what I wanted for this week's video, so I'm just swapping it out. And I'm gonna try and do at least something short here. I don't know how long this is gonna take because I've never done this before. So you all know, if you've either watched the previous videos or have been in the streams lately, 2021, I'm going to customize my island. So there's a couple of different online apps for customizing your island, like planning it, I guess you could say. So this is one of those apps. This is called Happy Island Designer, I believe. And this is an online thing you can use on your phone or I'm on a computer, obviously. And basically this lets you can either upload a screenshot of your island, like the map view of your island, and it'll scale to the screen. And on this, you should be able to see my cursor, I believe. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see, you get lots of options for all the different types of buildings, for all of the types of, bridges and trees and flowers, and you can put, pathways or furniture, stuff, symbols down, basically to get a loose idea of your island. And you can use these tools as makeshift terraforming, because obviously the layers on your map are different colors. So you have your light green as your top cliff, and your middle green as your second cliff, and then your dark green is your ground level. The little yellow ones are villager houses. These are ramps. The gray rectangles are bridges. Obviously my store, my museum, my residential services, my clothing shop. My house is the pink one up on the top right. And my campsite is down here on the bottom right. And this is my dock over here on the bottom right. I have 2 river mouths on my island. And my airport's kind of center, which is nice. If you don't choose to upload your screenshot, you can go through and they have a bunch of presets of different island formats that are fairly common. They may not be exact, but with these different tools up here in the left corner, you can customize the outline of the island, or where the rocks are, or where the ground is compared to the beach, or where the mouths of the rivers are. You can place your airport, and you can pick up and move all of this stuff. So because I'm just now customizing my island, if you were on any of the recent streams, the only customization I've really done since starting my island, and I have played almost every day since the game has come out. I missed most of December because I was sick, but aside from that, I play basically every day. I do my little check-in, I deal with my villagers, I do some cataloging. I split this area in half. This was one solid long cliff when I first got the island. I split that so that I could walk over here to the secret beach. Back here were red parks, and you can see by these little brown blobs that I have some stepping stones, custom pathway there. That's the only custom pathway I've laid on the island, believe it or not, in all this time. I moved my house up into this top right little mountain area, and I have a yard. This is all a yard, and then this is just more flower and space for crops. And then my top cliff here is all a giant pumpkin patch and a couple of trees right now. Stitch's house up here in the top left corner is all flowers. I did a lot of hybriding, so there's a lot of flowers everywhere, if you've never seen my streams. Basically, my entire ground level is houses and flowers. And trees. There's trees. And there's an orchard over here by Kabuki's house that is both above and below his house. Muffy's got, no one really has yards, so to speak. Kabuki kind of has a yard, and Muffy kind of has a yard, but mostly everyone's just surrounded by flowers because I was so determined to get all the hybrids. And I really am only looking for specific colors. And also I added these little jumping stones everywhere. And I just very, very vaguely shaped some of my waterway. But I always had two river heads that came down from the top corners of my islands. And I just changed their shape a little bit. So like this one starts in front of my house, and then I have my little ramp, and then you just jump over here to get to my front yard. And then this kind of loops around, and there's two little waterfalls here. But basically, and you can use this bottom right menu where the eyeball is to turn on and off your overlay of your personal island. Like, I did not draw this. This is literally a screenshot from the game. And you can make it more transparent, and you can trace it. So if you want to make it like really exact for like a before and after picture, or to be very specific with your measurements, I didn't get that specific. So what I'll do is I'll show you first. I have not started. All I did was I brought in my screenshot and I started fixing up the outline because there was not an island default in the settings for my island type. There was one with two southern river mouths, but the pier was on the other side, and the island, the secret beach was on the other side, and the rivers were different. So basically, and you'll see this as I drop the transparency, I'm going to drop the transparency on my island view to the blank island view that is below it. It's not 100% exactly a match because I'm not going to be that tedious with it, but you can see you can get very transparent, and then you can just shut it off. So this is loosely my island with everything leveled. Now obviously, that's not how the game works. You can't move your resident services or your airport or your pier. Oop, my pier's gone. Hold on, I need to find my pier, and I'm not sure which menu that's in, honestly. Where is the pier? There's the pier. Okay. My pier is like here. So we're just going to lay that down. It doesn't need to be exact. Okay. But my pier needs to be on the map. Okay. So your resident services you can't move. You can move your museum. You can move your store. You can move the houses, obviously. Your bridges, your ramps. So that stuff I'm not too worried about tracing over. The other stuff, on the other hand, is a different situation. Oops. And this is going to be a little finicky because I'm doing this on the second display. So hopefully just kind of works out. Yeah, see, like my rocks aren't exact and everything, but that's fine. It doesn't need to be exact. It just needs to be loosely enough the right size, because when you do it out on pen and paper, unless you like literally grid and scale everything, and you know how big like the furniture is or the bridges are, it becomes very tedious to try and pen and paper this. Because originally that's kind of what I did, but obviously this is much more accurate. There is also a fully 3D version of this that you can do that I don't know the name offhand. I can look it up later and link it in the description of this video. But basically, there's this one and there's a 3D one, and those are the two big ones that people use. But I believe in the 3D one, you cannot use it on mobile, and it takes a lot of computing power, and it doesn't have all of the features yet because it's still early on. So, that being said, this one's a little bit better if you're trying to be pretty thorough with what you want to lay out. Now, I have a loose idea in my head of what I want, and it's not super complex. I just don't know how I want to do it, and I haven't done a lot of really crazy terraforming. Not that this is going to call for it, but I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do this. So, my loose idea, if you were on today's stream, today being January 19th, 2021, I talked about my loose idea for my island. And my idea for my island is basically, I want a mountain, ryoten and onsen, and I want a bamboo forest, and I want, I'm going to be building a second house, but the house is not going to be a house, it's going to be a traditional Japanese inn, so it'll have rooms that are functional for visitors to come in like it's a traditional Japanese inn, and like a tea room and everything. And then there will be an onsen as much as possible with the furniture we have right now. And if we end up getting the Shinto line that we have in other Animal Crossing games, then I will be making a full Shinto shrine with all of that. But as of right now, we don't have that stuff in the game. In my Pocket Camp game, I do have a full Shinto shrine and Obon Festival for my camp. So that's kind of what we're doing with this, is it's going to be a very beginner's version of that. It's not going to be elaborate. I don't know that I'm going to give everyone like crazy fancy, like neighborhoods or anything. So here you can see like some of the different buildings. It's funny that they give you the different outlines because, I mean, really, like, aside from tents and, like, houses and stuff, you don't really have a lot of options. Okay, so let's start with the obvious. You can't move your resident services. So resident services is where it is at, right there. Not quite in the middle. You know, it's give or take in the middle. It's close, but it's not lined up with the airport. If I would have known that I couldn't move it, I would have probably made it centered with the airport, but it is what it is for right this moment. I might actually start with trying to figure out how I want to make my cliffs, because the way I want to do my bamboo forest is going to be a little wonky. So I don't want to block off the secret beach completely, so what I'm probably going to do is start the cliff somewhere over here and kind of build it outwards like this, loosely. Again, this is not going to be exact, I just need like a general idea of where I'm going to put things. So this might be where my cliff begins, at least on this side, and maybe I'll put something else over here up on a cliff, like do another corner cliff or something. But yeah, and then I'm gonna have probably another tier, kind of, well, probably, you know, mostly filling it out, and just have like a little go around area. And you can change the size of these like painting cursors, so I'm not being too delicate with this. You can be as finicky as you want depending on what you're trying to do. I wish there was a fill button, but I don't think there is, so we're just gonna kind of loosely scribble this in. Why isn't it filling it in? There we go. Like, that's weird. I'm pushing down, it's not filling in. Okay, we're just gonna do that loosely. Let me make this a little bit smaller again. Okay, just a general idea. I'm using this new tablet, so the buttons are a little bit different than the old one that I'm used to. So that's why, you know, things are a little jumpy. Okay, so something like that, and then probably not even that big of a second. Like, probably in the front it would maybe be a little bit bigger. The thing is, I have a specific mental image of how I want to do some of this. So what I might do is, I'm trying to picture it in my head, and you can always undo this. Like, there's an undo button, so you can always, you know, paint over it or undo it or whatever. I'm just trying to figure out in my brain how I want this to work, because obviously you only have so many features in the game. Like, you only have so many ramps, you only have so many tools, and so much room. So maybe do something like that loosely, and just have a, let's see. I don't really care about, like, the picture of the ramp. These are so funny because they're, like, kind of crooked looking, so to speak. But we'll just, do I have to click and drag? How do I do this? Oh, I see, okay. So, if I can, and I don't even know that you can do this, put like a ramp right at the beginning, take you up a level, and then immediately take you up a second level. And then there's a reason that I'm thinking this, and I don't know that this is going to work the way I want it to, but we're going to find out when I go to do it. Now, there has to be a little bit of a barrier between. So, what I might do is something like this. I don't know. I don't know if I want to leave it all the way to the back or if I want to make it a walkway. Because what I want to do in my head anyways is kind of have a space where these spaces down here on the bottom level are like lined with bamboo, because when you're on the top layer, you're at like the top of the bamboo, I believe. Like that's that height, so to speak. So like have a bunch of bamboo around here, and that way when you walk up onto the second walkway, you would be like looking down over the bamboo forest. I don't know if that makes sense the way I'm describing it, but so that's kind of like, you know, bamboo forest kind of down below. And obviously there would be like decorations and stuff. I'm not going to lay all that out because that would get... First off, there's always new items coming out, and there will be new items coming out for quite a while in this game, so to like try and lay out the exact like furniture or items that I want in specific spaces is not realistic. I just want a literal general layout of like what am I putting where and how much space approximately will certain things take up. And obviously you can only spawn so many trees in a place, so like I'm gonna have to deal with that. But just like I have to two rivers, so I need to figure out where I want those to meet or what I want those to do. So that's also part of this process. And I'm thinking what I want to maybe do is have this left waterfall. Hold on, cursor's doing the sticky thing again. Have this literally kind of like snake through, go up to the top as a waterfall, come down through two waterfalls technically. You know, we'll have this, it wouldn't be like perfectly straight, but it would be, you know, river shaped. I like to keep it kind of natural shaped. And then over here, I would probably also do something kind of similar. Or I would maybe make a second onsen. And that's kind of what I'm trying to decide, is if I want to do a second onsen over here. Because on one side of the island, I'm probably going to make it sort of a mix between like foresty and maybe like a rural market, like not super over the top market. Or I need to figure out where I'm going to put like people's houses, because if I'm going to move everyone into a cluster or like into a region, I want to make sure I might actually give people yards or loose interpretations of yards. So if I make a second cliff, I need to figure out like how big it's going to be or where it's going to be. Like if it's just going to be this corner, kind of like how my house is right now, because that's a pretty decent space. I have a house and a whole side yard, so I might actually make like, I don't know if I want to make like a second onsen and like a stargazing thing, because I don't really know if there's a difference. I'm just going to use this. So up here, I'm going to have the one house, and that's going to be the inn, like the actual like resort, so to speak. And then there will be stuff out and around here, like there will be ponds, and there will be the onsen, and there will be decorations, obviously, and there will be more trees and plants and, you know, all that fun stuff. And same thing with down here, like there will be plants and decor and features. So my second character's house, which will not be an actual house, a player's house, will be up here in the cliff tops. And I would love to know like if this is to scale or not. That's what I'd like to know. I mean, I guess it is, right? Give or take. I mean, yeah. It is. It's to scale. Okay. I wasn't sure, because it just looks so small. When you look at your island, when your island's full, it feels like there's no room for anything, if that makes any sense. So, I'm thinking of doing this, and I'm going to make exit, like, you know, side ramps so that you don't have to go up here. But, like, if you walk up here, you'll get, like, kind of that. And ideally, what I'd like to do when the weather gets to the right point is also, I want to have, you know, I don't time travel, so this is part of it, right? Like, I want to have a mix of cherry blossom trees, because this is, when it comes to dream season, that's going to be part of it too, right? Like, you always want to have, like, that good dream, and when it gets to, like, foggy, misty season, it'll look really cool when you're walking over the bamboo and the sakura trees during, like, Hanami season. And I think that's the right word. Maybe I've been listening to too much Japanese and I don't know anymore, but kind of have a mix of the bamboo and they'll be, you know, obviously organized in some kind of fashion. It won't just be a giant cluster of unmovable, like you won't be able to walk. But just for illustrative purposes, I'm doing this. So then when you walk over, and obviously cherry blossom trees aren't year-round, but when it comes time for that, I know, like, oh, I have space to plant these other trees, or swap them out for some of the, like, do half and half bamboo and sakura trees. So that's one thing. And I probably, so even though my native fruit is pears, I have swapped all of my pears out for apples for aesthetic reasons, because I was doing kind of a Halloween island, and I'm kind of torn between sticking with apples or switching to oranges. And the only reason I don't really like oranges for my Animal Crossing town as the main fruit is because where I live in real life, like, we're known for oranges, and there's oranges everywhere, and there's signs for oranges, and everything's oranges, and it's like, I don't even like oranges. Like, so I feel like, and if they don't introduce new fruits, because in older Animal Crossing there's other fruits, right? Like, there's lychee, there's grapes, there's lemons, there's other things besides. There's what are they called? Persimmons? Persimmons. There's persimmons in other Animal Crossing. So in this one, you only have the 5 base fruits. You don't have the others. There used to also be bananas. You used to have coconut trees and banana trees that you could grow on your beach, and now we just have coconuts. So, like, I would prefer bananas to coconuts, but again, I'm working with what we have. Now, if they update and they add the original stuff back in from the other games, then I can always change it. Trees are easy to swap out, at least. You dig them up, you plant a new one. But it's just, time consuming and tedious. So for right now, we're going to work with what we have, and we'll go from there. Now, a loose idea. We'll have ponds up here somewhere. I'll just draw like a little blob. Like they'll be like, oops, come on, cursor, do the thing. We're just going to have like some, some waterways over here by the, or maybe we'll just have like a weird shaped lake. I don't know. Because technically that counts. Does it count as no? It counts as river, right? But what we'll probably do is I'm trying to figure out what I want to do about the second cliff region. I also need to plan. So I'm probably going to use this more open space for like buildings and stuff. And maybe I will put like the Nooklings over here instead of over here, and like have like a strip, because like right now everyone's kind of clustered. And maybe I'll put the museum up here at the top. I don't know. Or maybe I'll put it down here in like the forest area. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Let's see. Because we can put a museum down like here, or like over here off to the side. Or we can put it down in the, like, on the coasts, so to speak. So I don't want to clutter up the entire island to the point where it's like non-functional, because I do want a functional island. I don't want it to just be aesthetic. So like if I put my museum down here, like towards the bottom of the cliffs, and then it's kind of like off the coasts, and it's just kind of whatever. I don't know if I like that. Do I like that? I kind of like the idea of it being more like either in the foresty area, like here maybe, because then it's like, oh, we're going to this onsen, this Ryatan, and then oh, there's like a museum of like the historic part of this area of Stormcrow. Pardon my cough. And then maybe trying to think of what I want to do, because I don't mind my current kind of corner setup, but I don't want to necessarily keep my what I might do, I'm trying to think if I want my house to be like up with the other house or not. Because I could, so like this would be like the resort house, and then like I'm kind of like over here off the water or something. Or in the forest down below, like up in the mountains. This is very tricky. I don't know how people do this. I think we can have 8 ramps, right? Like that's the limit, so to speak. I think there's an 8 ramp limit. It's hard to say, 8 ramp limit. And probably what I'll do is put like ramps. So that would be 4. you know, on each side, so that obviously you don't have to use your ladder every 2 damn seconds, because that would be annoying. And then have one down here to, like, where the museum is. And then there would be one, like, right here from the museum. So that's 6. And then if I put one on this side, because I don't think you can do it, like, on the beach. I don't think you can put stuff on the beach like that. And there would be a gap here, so, like, if you wanted to go around this long walkway, it wouldn't be forced. You could leave to the left or to the right, and I would have, like, signage or something down here that says, like, oh, go left to go to the forest, or go right to go to the market, or to the neighborhood, or whatever we're gonna call it. And then I use the red bridges, but for these we're just gonna, you know, illustrative purposes. So we're gonna make some bridges. I don't know what the bridge limit is, so right now we're just gonna kind of do one of these, and then if it's too many bridges, actually I should look that up, right? Like, see how many bridges you can have, because I don't know. I don't even know how many bridges do I have now? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 bridges. Okay, so maybe you can have 8 bridges as well. Let me look it up. How many bridges can I have? You can have 8. Okay. Can you have 8 of each? Okay, yes, you can build 8 and 8. Okay, that's good to know. So, if I do a bunch of, like, kind of decorative ones up here, maybe it won't be 4, maybe it will, who knows. And then I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this back corner, is the next problem. So right now, I've got this going on, which is, like, this part is my yard, and then this is kind of, like, trees and flowers. Do I want to keep something kind of similar, or make it smaller, maybe? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll sort of fill this in a little bit. I'm tracing it because that just makes it slightly easier for me. I think I just filled it in the wrong color, though, which is on brand. Well, actually, hold on. Let me go back. Can I go back twice? Okay. I think I want to make this area smaller. So let's say we do kind of like a small blob here. Let me turn off this view so I can kind of see. I'll probably make it narrower, but just for a loose idea. Because I want to keep this open. So maybe we'll do something like that. Ooh, a little bit of lag there, but okay. Okay, loose blob, that's fine. And then the top layer, we would have most of it be the top layer, like it is now. How big is that compared to what I've got? That's not, you know, a huge difference. It's a little bit smaller, but that's fine. Because I have a lot of just, like, flower space in my yard right now. It's not, like, decorated. Like, I have a workshop area. I have a little bit of fencing. Not about it. So that's fine. And then basically, I think what I would do is kind of like how I have a waterfall coming from my house right now. I would have a small pond maybe, and then have another small pond down here, but have this lead down into, let me make this a little bit smaller, have this kind of lead down. Now, the one thing I will say I don't like about how river mouths work in this game is that you can't change the size of the actual river mouth. So, like, the river mouth has to stay as wide as it is. You can't make that any smaller. You can make it wider, like, going inwards, but you can't make it smaller. So, like, I used to have, like, forked rivers and stuff like that, and that's cool and everything, but that's also kind of a pain in the butt. And I don't know if I'll do, like, a fancy shaped pond or anything like that. I think that's a lot. Right now I'm just going to kind of leave it a blob shape. Like I said, this is just, like, loose planning. But we'll have a waterfall there and a waterfall there. And then it'll come down through the island. And then this will kind of waterfall through. And maybe... because I already have kind of, like, a peninsula on my island right now. That was there. So, like, this is kind of boring, so to speak. So maybe what I'll do is have it run... I mean, and maybe I won't have it run all the way the length of the island, because we have this one running the entire length. I don't know. I don't know. This is why we're working it out, right? Like, I like the waterfalls, but I also kind of fucking hate having, like, a bajillion bridges and crosses and stuff like that. So maybe what we'll do is a small, change shape. Nope, too skinny. And I have like this weird little blob of land that comes out as well. And I've thought about opening that up into being something, and I don't know what. Because right now I just have like a tree there. But maybe I'll make it a fishing spot, or like a barbecue spot, or a little restaurant or something. But I do need ponds, and I need some stuff like that, so... And of course when I'm actually doing it in-game, it'll be different, because I will sort of... Now here's a question. If I have a waterfall that leads down into like a blob and not a river, is it a river or is it a pond? What kind of fish spawn there? That's a good question. But maybe I'll just have a few small ponds here and there for fishing purposes. Like maybe I'll just have a little pond down here or something. The problem also is that, like, thankfully I've got all the bugs and all the fish since I've been playing regularly since the game came out. So my museum is complete in terms of that. I just need diving creatures that come back in spring, so I don't really need to fish unless I want to sell them or make models or whatever. And I've been saving fish for modeling, so I don't have all of them, but I have a lot. That's very square, but I can only do so much on this tool, so we're just gonna... Go on. Knock off that corner, please. Work with me here. That's as good as it's getting for this tool. Okay, good enough. So maybe what we'll do is I'll put my house, like my actual house, up here, and then make like a little chill garden area, so to speak, and then have like a little waterfall and a little pond, lake, whatever. This will be our big boy that goes through the island. Maybe I'll just shorten this river to be like a little mini thing. And then, how many bridges? That was only 4 bridges, right? So, I do like the decorative bridges, so I'm probably going to put a bridge, like, in front. Well, you know, see, maybe I'll do that. Hold on. See, this is what happens is you kind of get, like, an idea, and then you're like, oh, wait, I've got an idea. Oops. Oopsie. Oopsie. It's fine. It's a little laggy, so it's also kind of a little tricky. But let me try this really quick. Okay. Take that tool. What if I do sort of like a little tiny pond here in front of my house, and you know, a little waterfall that comes down. And then get rid of this blob. Uh-oh, why is it not getting rid of my blob? There we go. Really hope you guys can hear the music. I'm like paranoid, because it's one thing when I'm on stream and people can be like, we can't hear the music. Okay, the reason I did that is because what I would do is I would put a decorative bridge in front of my house. And then maybe one right below. Just for decorative purposes, right? Because that would make 6. And then maybe I would put one down here for functional purposes, because some people don't want to walk all the way around. And then we might put... We might actually do another decorative one over here, too. Let's see. Because I want this to be kind of woodsy up here. Like, I don't want this to be super, like, city-like. I don't know how close to a house you can actually put a bridge in the game, but just for imagery purposes, we're just going to say, we're going to put a bridge in front of the house. And that would give us 8 bridges. Now, I do like the diagonal bridges, so maybe I will make some of these diagonal. But I don't need to worry about it on the map. I'm just going to lay down where I'm going to put them, and then we can worry about the shape and the angle when I go to actually build it. Because I also want it to look kind of cool for like pictures or for like people who come over. This would be decorated. Obviously, you have the way around. You have the ramps to get down without having to worry about your ladder. You know, if you do need a ladder. Let's see what else. So we need some buildings. So I need a shop. Now, I could make everything kind of in a line and everything be like a market street and then have all the neighborhood on this side. Or I can do like the shop over here in the woods. The two shops over here in the woods. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna put them over here, and they're not gonna be exact, but they're gonna be close enough. So let's say that, right? What else? Am I missing something? We got the museum over there in the woods in the rural area. I need a campsite. That's the other thing I need. Use this for the campsite. The campsite should be in the rural area, right? Whoa, that's a really big symbol. I don't want that giant freaking symbol. I thought there was a thing for the campsite. I think we can use this for the campsite, right? What's used for the campsite on the map? Oh, the big symbol is used for the campsite. Well, I'm going to use the little yellow symbol. So the campsite might be like here on the other, because I mean, if you're camping, you'd want to be in the rural area, right? If you're a camper. So that would be the campsite. I don't know what to do with the little river or the little squiggly of water. I mean, maybe it should just be like, it ends in a little, like in a little pond, and then just have like little ponds around. Okay, so then the other thing we need is, I'm gonna use, well, I guess I could have used those for me, but that's fine. I'm gonna use these for the villagers. So there's 10 villagers, and what I'm probably gonna do is do kind of like, we're gonna do some people down here, I think. We're gonna do like, just trying to think how to space them. And like I said, it's not gonna be exact. It's gonna be kind of close. Kind of close is all we need. Oops. No. So that's 8. And then maybe do like 1 here, and then like 1 up here. And then everybody can have a little bit of space, give or take, but they're not all super clustered together, because I don't want it to be like a city neighborhood. I kind of want it to be more like a village. But also you have to be kind of careful about laying houses in front of bodies of water, because then you block the body of water, which is my current problem. So like if you look at my current map, all of these buildings right here, between the buildings and the things that are around it, I can't actually see my river. Like, it's hard to fish because I can't see. So that kind of is like an issue in various places between bridges and houses. Like, these houses also block this part of the river. So it becomes a little tedious, you know, especially these bigger buildings, like the shops and everything. So something kind of like this. And then obviously the secret beach would be open, and I would have stuff in front of the secret beach. I would have things on the beach. I would have more trees and everything, and flowers and whatnot everywhere. I'm trying to think if there's something else I need to think about before I start doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that leaves us 7. So I want to get rid of... Let me get rid of this. And... because that's, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I would want to make some form of ramp. Now, in my current house setup, I have this side ramp that, like, you can't see. Like, nobody knows it's there but me, apparently, because I never see anyone else use it. And then I have the forward-facing ramp, and then I have a jump over, and then I have another ramp. So what I can do is I can put a... I kind of like the side ramp, I'm not going to lie, so maybe like a side ramp here, and it would be hidden by the terraforming, like my current ramp is. And then you would come up across the bridge, and there would be another ramp, but it would be on the other side. Oops. This one. Kind of inset. Because the land comes up in front of it, so you only see the ramp, like it literally is inset, so it works really well. So that would give us 8 ramps and 8 bridges. And then I could put like decorative stuff in the open space and yards for the neighbors and stuff like that. But it also wouldn't be like, because I'm not going to give them huge yards, I'm going to give them little tiny, like, you know, spaces, so to speak. And then I can have my hybrid flowers kind of spaced out amongst all of that, because I do want to keep all of my hard work. But I can put them in people's yards, or I can make like little patches of flowers or something. So yeah, I think that's kind of in terms of the buildings. Now, again, this is assuming that this is kind of to scale. It always looks like so much, like it looks so roomy, right? Like this looks way roomier than this. Because when you see my island looks like a clusterfuck. Like it just looks cluttered as hell. But this looks like very spacey and like open. And I don't even know how, because obviously I've got like a million things thrown down. But it's so weird because it looks like it's not even the same scale, but it is. And maybe it's just because I have all this water cutting through and I don't have all this land open. Maybe that's the problem. And like, if this doesn't end up being enough space for these buildings, I'll put one below and one above. Like, that doesn't matter to me. I'm pretty loosey-goosey with the specifics. It's just the overall, like, aesthetic that I'm going for. And like I said, if you've been watching the recent Animal Crossing streams and coffee videos, you kind of know the kind of stuff I'm looking at for the most part. I just wish that they would release more items that are in my general theme that I tend to do on my islands and in my towns, because we don't even have the Zen Bell from the original Animal Crossing, which is wild to me. It's been in every game but this one. Like, we don't have any of the cool Boba or Shinto Shrine or Torii Gates or the Red Shrine. We don't have the Obon Festival booths. We don't have a lot of food items. People are making, you know, food items custom designed with the hats and everything that you see that's very popular. But, like, in-game stuff, like, they really need to start pushing out more of the old-school Animal Crossing stuff. Even if it's refurbed, like, it's a new version of it, that's fine. It doesn't need to be identical. Like, I'm drowning here with, like, very little things. So I'm probably going to have a lot of, like, the Zen Stones and the Komainu, like the Lion Dogs. I'm probably going to have, you know, I have all of my red bridges that I use, my Zen-style bridges. I have, you know, I can have like little meditation areas and like my little hot springs and stuff like that. I'll have like a little outdoor picnic area. I'll have, you know, things like that, or like bikes and things like that parked. But really, I want to keep it pretty natural. I don't want to go very heavy city. There are very cool city islands, don't get me wrong. I love that stuff, but it's not for me in terms of my regular day-to-day island. It's one thing if it was an island I made just aesthetically but didn't play on, but I only have the one island, so... And I don't even know that I'll like this when it's done. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Maybe... I know a lot of people don't like it, but like maybe I'll make this area kind of like the hop across stuff. Because I also don't necessarily like... I don't know. Like, this is a very tricky area to do, because this narrow walkway, like, has to be interesting for it to work. And that's difficult. Maybe it'll end up being waterfalls. I'm not sure, like, on the sides. I'll see as I build it what works for the amount of space, because you have to have so much on each side for it to let you build up without hacking and stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of the general gist of it. Obviously, sans all the decoration and little specifics. But that's kind of my loose idea, at least in my head. I don't know that it's going to work out. Maybe I'll change it entirely as I'm going. But I kind of need to know, like, to go from this, like, what I need to level, what I need to, like, get rid of. Like, if I can start closing up part of my river to move the houses and stuff like that. And moving my flowers. And I chopped down a lot of my coconut trees already. But I have orchards. Like, I need to know where I need to move stuff and replace, so... It's just a lot, and obviously it's going to take time, but that's why I said, like, it's a project for this year. It's not like a thing I'm trying to rush. Like, I'm not time traveling, so if I do one small thing, like, every couple of days, I'll be pleased with myself. I don't think it'll take, you know, all year or anything, and obviously I'll put down, like, custom paths in people's yards and custom stuff around the shrine, and hopefully new items will come out in 2021 that fit my aesthetic better. It's really a shame, because if you play Pocket Camp and you look at the items that are available there, Shinto Heaven. Shinto Heaven. They have actual onsen, they have spa stuff, they have, you know, things that are very traditionally Japanese, and it's weird because, like, it's probably mostly played by American people and European people and people who don't speak Japanese, so, like, the global audience wants these items, you know, because people pay actual real-life money for those Pocket Camp items. They're not free. You have to pay for them for the most part, or grind a lot. And, you know, in New Horizons, like, you would think, oh, why can't they just use, like, those models and just upscale them, like, you know, make them higher def or something, and then just put them out as, like, DLC or as with a seasonal update, because there's so many Shinto and Buddhist festivals in Japan. Like, they could put out 8 items, like they do for the Christmas items or for the Easter items. They could put out a line of Valentine's Day items, or a line of Oban, or Children's Day. Like this past year, we got the cape and the crown. Give us 3 or 4 items per holiday. Like, a lot of us would be thrilled with that in terms of the Japanese items, because if you look through Dream Islands and like inspiration posts, a lot of the islands are very, even from non-Japanese users, are very Japanese inspired. So for people to have to kind of bootleg their own items, you know, by like drawing a bowl of ramen on a flat picture and then putting that design up on a wall and being like, this is my ramen, like, that's sad. Like, I want a bowl of ramen. There's food in every Animal Crossing game. Give me food. Like, we've just started getting food for New Year's, and it's like, okay, now give us more things. Like, you don't have to give us 1,000 things a month, but they talk about having updates planned for the game for years. Okay, a lot of people are going to stop playing because, obviously, especially during 2020, with most people being home, like, people are already tired of playing without destroying their islands and starting over, because if you don't like the daily gameplay feature, there's not much else to do or add if you're not getting new stuff all the time. So we'll see what they do in 2021. Hopefully, you know, we know that in February, we have the return of Pave, my least liked NPC. A lot of people hate Zipper. I hate Pave the most, I think. Pave is super obnoxious. I really hope they kind of nerfed his obnoxiousness for this game. I will say, they learned very quickly from Zipper and pushed out an update very, very quickly to fix that issue. But I really hope that they don't make Pave as annoying as he was in the original game, because I could not stand him. So hopefully there's some new Festivale items, and hopefully, Pave's not super annoying, and we'll see what we get with that. But I'm also curious to see what kind of Shinto and Buddhist items we get this year, because that's really what I'm relying on. That being said, let me flip my map back off. This is hopefully the loose beginning idea of what I'm aiming at for my mountain retreat in traditional onsen sort of setting. And there'll be like food booths and different things, like little, markets and stuff like that. We'll see, though. We'll see. You guys, I've talked about this on stream already, but you guys know that I've been learning Japanese recently, and we joked about it. Like, I had somebody, I believe they said they were from Taiwan, but they've been to Japan a bunch, in my stream today, and they were asking me like how many times I had been to Japan, and I said never. And we talked about that for a while. It was a great conversation. It was pretty funny. But I told them, I'm like, a lot of people assume when they see an American who wants to go to Japan, or who likes to learn Japanese, or to make a Japanese themed island, that they're like a weeaboo, or that they're otaku, and I'm really neither. So I'm kind of like one of those weird cases where it's like, I just have always been very into Japanese cultural studies, even when I was younger. While my friends were like hardcore binging anime, like I would watch an anime or two. Like, I won't say I've never watched it, but I never got like into it in the way that most of my friends have, especially as somebody who cosplays. Like, most of my friends cosplay from animes, and I cosplay from other things like video games, or from TV shows, or from books or whatever, or from Dungeons and Dragons characters. And like when I was in high school, and I almost was a Japanese culture major going into middle school, for like college credit, like early college credit stuff where you do in middle school, and you have a major. So I almost was a Japanese major. I ended up being talked out of it. I regret that as an adult, but you can't go back and change things. I ended up being a French cultural major instead, and then in high school, my school didn't offer Japanese, so I continued French in high school. And then when I went to college, my college also didn't offer Japanese, or at least not beginner's Japanese. And I continued French, and I took Italian, and then at home I also tried to learn Hindi, but Hindi was really hard for me. I could not pick up Hindi at all. I don't know if it was the way I was being taught by the program I was using, or just I couldn't get it. Like, my brain was just zero. Like, I was not absorbing any of it. But this year I decided, instead of regretting that I never majored in Japanese, to just learn it, or at least try to learn it. So I started like a week and a half ago, just DIY learning using an app. I use Gogo Nihon, at least for now. I've already finished the program that's built into that, which is all of the hiragana, all of the katakana, and then the modifiers. I don't have all of the modifiers memorized yet, so I can't fully read, but what I'd like to do, hopefully in the next couple of months, or sooner if possible, because I try to practice every day, even if it's only a little bit, is I would like to switch my Nintendo Switch over to Japanese for Animal Crossing, because Japanese Animal Crossing, even though it uses kanji, which are obviously for a true beginner, hard to learn without a translator or a dictionary or something, it also uses the subtitles above it that spell it out. So if there's a kanji for a word in the dialogue, there's little gray subtitles over the word, and that spells it out in either katakana or hiragana. So if you know katakana or hiragana, you can still read the kanji, and then you're learning kanji as you go, since the game is aimed mostly at a younger audience, at children and stuff. So I made a second character, and he has a Japanese name, because he runs the inn, and I haven't made him in the game yet, but I've made his Switch account as of tonight. But I will start setting up his house, because I think I have enough savings to pay off his home fully, like flat out, but I also need to pay to move all of the buildings. I need to pay to move all the buildings, and I don't know how much total that costs, because I haven't done it before, but I need to move all the buildings. I need to set up a second house and pay it off. I need to move all of my bridges and all of my inclines, and I haven't done the math on how much any of that costs, or how much the total will be. I think right now I have like 25 million bells, and I haven't really been grinding, because I didn't even play for all of December because I was sick, but I'm pretty good about picking up a decent amount of money. And I also, even though I don't play the turnip market, I host for the turnip market, and people tip pretty well. But I would play the turnip market again with Turnip Profit. If you've never used Turnip Profit, it is reliable. It does work. I have had total success on the weeks and months that I was using it. Literally on Sunday, you go on your game. You check out what the prices of your turnips are. You don't have to buy any. I would say for your first week of using Turnip Profit to not buy any, actually, unless you really like to gamble. Or if you really like to go use the turnip market exchange online and go to other people's islands and deal with that. Then it's a whole other thing. But for your own island, first week, don't do it. Get the selling price from Daisy May. Go to the Turnip Profit website or the app on your phone or whatever. Put in your selling price. Put in, I don't know what last week's pattern was. And then every day, morning and afternoon, because you have 2 turnip prices a day for Monday through Saturday, enter the prices, and it'll literally project what your style of sales is for the week, and it is accurate. And especially the further you get along in the week, and the more you know. So, like, let's say you do week 1, and you have a decreasing pattern, because there's only 5 patterns your turnip prices can take. You either have fluctuating, which means it goes up and down within a certain range every day, but it's a certain patterned range. It's not totally random. So the algorithm has learned what that pattern is, or what those patterns are, because there are patterns, plural. Decreasing, which means it starts at the highest price you're going to get, which is usually very low, and then it just goes down from there every day. And you end up selling for like 20 bucks, nothing, or 40 bucks, or whatever it is. There's a small spike pattern, and there's a large spike pattern, which are just what they sound like. There's one specific sale period during your week, and it can be projected specifically by the algorithm that it'll sell up to like 400 bells and then over 600 bells. So obviously high spike and low spike are what you want. Fluctuating's hit or miss because it can be like 250, which isn't bad if you buy your turnips low. But if you're only buying a handful of turnips, you need to sell them very high. Usually what I used to do when I was in the turnip market was I would use the Turnip Profit, and if I didn't have good prices on my island projected, I would literally go on the Turnip Exchange website, and I would go to islands that had turnips for 600 or more, and I would go sell my turnips for 600 or more, so 650 a piece. If you buy it at 90 and you sell it at 650, it's just like the real life stock market. You're making a huge profit, and if you buy a lot of turnips, you make a lot of money very quickly. I used to only buy 1 inventory's worth of turnips, and I used to make over 1 million bells every single time I bought turnips. And I only ever spent like maybe $100,000 per batch, give or take. So if you're spending 100,000 bells and you're flipping it for 1.2 million, that's a huge profit in very little work. There's no grinding involved aside from using the app. So if you're a turnip person, or if you need to be a turnip person, that's how you do it. Turnip Exchange, Google it. Turnip Profit, not Turnip Profit, Turnip Profit are 2 very reliable and vetted things. Now I will say, in terms of hosting, I used to also host on the Turnip Exchange. You have to be super cautious about that because there are shady motherfuckers out there. As we all know, there are trolls, there are thieves, there are people who will come to your island just to destroy stuff. Whatever. Be cautious. You can Twitch lock, you can Discord lock your turnip if you host on the Turnip Exchange. Then you can at least track people, and you can ban them. You can ban people from your island. You can report people for things on Turnip Exchange, and you can also use the Turnip Exchange not just for turnips, because a lot of people don't know this, but you can go on and there's filters when you first go to the website. You don't have to log in or anything. You just go to the website and you click on what you want. So let's say you're trying to sell turnips, you click turnips. Now let's say you don't want to sell or buy turnips. Let's say you're looking for stars. You can go on and click Celeste, and you can go find people who are hosting shooting star meteor showers with Celeste there, and that are letting people come to their island, usually for free. You come to their island, they show you where Celeste is, you get your free recipe from Celeste, and then there's a limit on how many stars you can generate as a visitor. I think it's 20. 20 wishes, I believe, is what was proved by the data mining. So you do your 20 wishes, and then you go home, and you just thank the person, and you be polite and have manners, and, act like a human. And take some pictures or whatever, or maybe bring them a gift, or tip them if you have the money or are generous, or have a rare item, I always tip people or give them rare items or hybrid flowers or something like that. Because people, especially when you go to someone's island and they have like a very new or very plain island, they're probably a newer player. You can usually tell kind of by looking, for the most part, like how much time they've spent playing the game or how serious they are in playing the game. Some people just want to have friends over, and they'll be like, oh, hang out as long as you want, or shop, or, whatever. Or, hey, I can't afford this item, and you help them, catalog an item. It's for the most part, there are trolls everywhere, but it's a good community. You know, and it's a lot of younger people, but you don't have to voice chat. You just go on and you literally just either type on the screen or you use the emotes or whatever. I've never voice chatted with any of the randos that I've hosted or visited. So if you're worried about that, most people don't do that. Most people don't voice chat. I've only ever had one visitor try to voice chat me, and I shut it down quick. I was like, nope, no voice chat. Sorry. But that's my advice for that. If you need money to redo your island, either do the turnip exchange or before you start rehauling your island, plant an orchard of a fruit that's not local to your island, and literally just every 3 days when the fruit grows, sell it. Get a bunch of pumpkins, plant them, water them twice. You get 3 pumpkins per pumpkin that grow. You sell them, you can make 100K per pumpkin bunch. It's really good, easy, good money. And if you don't have room for any of that kind of stuff, you know, and you don't want to fish or catch bugs or wait for Flick or wait for CJ, another thing you can do, obviously selling fossils is kind of a, you know, not a huge income in this game, but an easy one. If you have Nook Miles, get a bunch of tickets. Go to a bunch of islands and just, you know, grab all the fruit. Grab fish. Hit the money rock. You know, catch rare bugs. Catch rare fish. Get extra recipes. Whatever. Sell all of it. I used to go and just pick weeds and shake trees and get twigs and hit rocks and, like, literally just get bare necessity, what do you call it, resources, and make, like, $50,000 an island, and it would take no time and no energy, you know? So everyone's different. It has a different play strategy, and there is no wrong way to do it, you know? Maybe you go around and you buy stuff from Red, and then you just turn it and sell it. You know, Red stuff doesn't go for a lot in the game, but, you know, $5,000 here and there. It's whatever. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're up to. So I'm probably going to be doing more Animal Crossing streams, because they're relatively relaxing. I like looking at the designs that we've been looking at on the last few streams and videos. That's always a good time. Today's VOD is already processed, and it will be up tomorrow midday, because I have to wait 24 hours from Twitch. I am going to try and do a second coffee exclusive video this week. It might not happen until the end of the week, though. So if you're seeing this, there will probably be a second video of something else, not this again specifically, but just a second video that's a coffee exclusive, and that will be the 2 for this week, since I didn't get to do one last week because of scheduling. I would like to make coffee exclusive videos once every week minimum. I would like to be able to do more, but for right now, while I'm kind of getting everything figured out, once a week is already a lot, so we'll move up as we get there. But I want to give you guys exclusive content, whether it's just chill chats like this, or it's you getting a sneak peek into what's going to be coming up, or what I'm working on. There will be art streams. There will be rhythm gaming streams. If you haven't seen, well, you're here on Coffee if you're seeing this video. If you're here on Coffee and you're seeing this video as a supporter, I appreciate you. And my next Coffee goal, at least for right now, is to get a Taiko Master Switch setup. Like the cheap one, not the $500 plus one. The literal base level one that you can get from like Walmart or whatever. That's my next goal, because a lot of that stuff, like a lot of rhythm gaming, uses copyrighted music, which obviously is a problem on Twitch, and it's also a problem on YouTube. My channel on YouTube is not, where I host all of these videos, is not monetized, and I get copyright striked on like basically every video because of the music I use, or because of the music in the game. Well, not this game specifically, but in other games that we've played, like Monster Prom and Monster Camp, I get copyright strikes on every single one of those videos. I got a copyright strike the other day on one of the chill videos that I had music in the background for. Even though I talked over it the entire time, they still said copyright strike, and it was super quiet. You know, it's just a tricky thing, so I don't monetize or keep the YouTube videos public. These are all unlisted. You guys get these exclusive videos just here on Coffee, all my VODs, and then I don't have to worry about monetizing my YouTube channel, because you only monetize your YouTube channel if you have traffic. Which, I mean, I'm having indirect traffic, and that's why I just put it behind the paywall, because you guys can pay $1, which is more money than they would make on YouTube. You know, if you know anything about how YouTube works, you don't make money really off of YouTube, unless you're huge. Like, if you have hundreds of thousands of followers, or if you have viral videos that get millions of views, then you make money. But if you're just a small person who has, like, 100 followers and, you know, 10 views per video, you don't make money off of that. And when you get copyright striked, what happens is they put ads on your videos whether you're monetized or not. and then they give that money to the person who copyright strikes you. So if somebody goes, hey, we're copyright striking you for the song, or claiming, technically, because it's not a strike, there is a difference, they put ads on your videos even if you're not monetized. So some of my videos have ads on them, not because I've put ads on them, but because YouTube puts ads on them, and then that money doesn't go to me, that money goes to the person who's making the copyright claim. So when you guys see ads on the videos, that's why, and I have no control over that unless I just fully mute the video, which is difficult after you've recorded it, because I would also then have to just mute the game audio or me talking or, you know, stuff like that, which makes it more tricky. So far I haven't been doing that. I've just been letting them claim the money because I know I'm not getting traffic that warrants even a penny. Like, I don't think I've probably, across all of the YouTube videos that I've posted since coming back to Twitch, I doubt I've technically warranted a penny of ad revenue, even if I was monetized. So I don't care that they want to claim the music. Go for it. Unless you're closing down my channel, then that's another situation. But for right now, that is what the situation is unless Coffee gives me an in-house hosting service for my videos, I have to do it through YouTube for right now, because otherwise I have to pay to do it somewhere else, and I don't have any money to do that, or I would. But yeah, so if you guys have ideas of things you want to see for the Coffee exclusive videos, whether it be art videos or whether it be behind the scenes stuff or whether it be more rhythm gaming, you let me know and we'll figure it out as time goes. And for now, we're just kind of slowly building up. 2021, we're gonna get more stuff going here on Coffee, and I appreciate all of your support, and I'm glad you stuck through this probably very boring video. And I will see you guys, if you're watching this when it, well, maybe it'll go up tonight. We'll see how long it takes to process on YouTube. I will have a stream Thursday night, and it'll be a Poke Meme stream like last week's Poke Meme stream, and probably some Jackbox. And otherwise, I'll see you guys in the streams, and hopefully in a few more days here on Coffee exclusive videos. Thanks again. Hope you all take care of each other, and have a good night. Bye.